It seems like psychics and fortune tellers are on every other street corner in New York, all boasting they can predict or read your future. Some visit psychics for a good laugh, others are just looking for a new experience, and some are hoping to gain insight on what's in store for their lives. But psychic shops are more than just crystal balls and tarot cards.
A lot of times what people don't realize is that when they see that little quaint shop with the neon sign, that often there's a sinister side to that shop.
Former New York cop turned psychic investigator Bob Nygaard spent his free time in retirement recovering money from those ripped off at psychic storefronts all over the U.S. Clients that have gone to him have been tricked, scammed, and left emotionally bankrupt. He has helped his clients recover over $3.5 million from psychic swindlers.
I say to people, you are the one-time victim of a professional con artist. Because I have very intelligent clients. I have clients that are lawyers, doctors, CEOs of companies, and they say to me, Bob, how is it that I fell for this? You know, I'm an intelligent person. And I say, don't blame yourself, okay? Don't blame the victim, credit the con.
Scandals involving psychics are not new. The most notorious involved Miss Cleo, a well-known phone psychic whose TV network was shut down by the FBI for fraud and deception in 2002. Nygaard says that despite these warning signs, people still fall prey to these con artists every day.
Psychic scam is where people claim to have supernatural powers, and they say that they can use those powers to help remove curses and evil spirits. So what happens is the psychic does what's called a cold reading. They find out what's bothering the person, and then they groom the person, and then they charge a progression of fees. So it's not just $90,000 on the first shot. The psychic will say, hey, I need $50 for the reading, and then I need a couple of $100 to do deeper research to find out what the root cause of the problem is. And then when the person comes back, the root cause of the problem is inevitably a curse. And that's going to cost a lot of money.
Nygaard says the typical New York storefront makes up to $350,000 a year extorting people from within their shops. And he says they typically prey upon vulnerable people who are in a desperate need of hope.
You know, the doctor's not going to tell them, hey, listen, you know, I can cure your cancer if he can't. You know, the person's not going to say, a psychologist is not going to tell a person, I'm going to bring your husband back to you if he can't or she can't. So, you know, the person goes looking for false hope. Exactly. They're not looking for false hope, they're looking for hope. And the psychic has a great product. They're selling this person false hope.
The act of fortune telling is in fact illegal in New York State. A Class B misdemeanor and punishable by 90 days in jail or a $500 fine. The law prohibits anyone from claiming to the ability to tell fortunes, exercise curses, or manipulate occult powers, except as part of a show or exhibition solely for the purpose of entertainment or amusement. Regardless of the damage and ruin they have been proven to cause, Nygaard says the law does not always take the threat of psychics seriously.
I was a police officer, so it really aggravates me when I hear from someone and tells me they went to the police station and they were turned away when they tried to report psychic fraud. You know, the thing you have to understand is in life, when you go to Joe's Pizzeria and you don't like the service or you don't like the pizza, you can go to Giuseppe's Pizzeria. But when you're a victim of a crime in a certain precinct and you go there for help, if they turn you away, you can't go down the block, you can't go anywhere else. So when a police officer turns away a victim, he's really doing a lot of harm to that victim. That victim has no recourse.
So Nygaard has taken matters into his own hands. What you're seeing here is an undercover sting operation.
Hello. How much is the
To gather evidence against Times Square psychic Christine Evans on behalf of a 23-year-old Chinese woman who was defrauded of $1,300, Nygaard went undercover as a heartbroken divorcee with a hidden camera to document Evans in the middle of her act.
Your soul is very damaged. You're still not healed over the situation.
Evans spots a vulnerable person and she goes in.
There is a negative force that is circling your body, your soul, and your mind, and your spirit that is interfering with your destiny and your path. John, you need spiritual cleansing. Do you want me to help you to bring her back to you?
Can you do that?
100%. I can bring her back. That's not the problem, John.
Right.
If you have faith and do what I tell you to do.
What do we do?
Okay. I got to do certain work, John. I got to go into prayer. I got to go into meditation. I need her name. Okay. The sooner I start this work, John, the sooner you start to see results. You will be free of this negative force. From wherever this...
And the cleansing isn't going to be cheap.
John, this cleansing is $500. In order for me to bring Sue back in your life,
yeah,
you have to do what I tell you to do.
Nygaard says this type of manipulation is textbook.
Isolate the victim from friends and family, create a siege mentality, create a sense of dependency, exacerbate the victim's existing fears, okay? Create a pseudo world, their own world, keep the victim in the dark about what's going on. These are the same kind of psychological principles that a cult leader uses to keep his members of the cult in line. And the psychic just does the same psychological principles, but on a one-on-one basis.
This is a routine Evans has done countless times. Serial con artist Evans was previously arrested in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Arizona, and Florida for a range of crimes, including extortion, larceny, theft by deception, identity theft, and forgery. The video evidence was enough to have Evans arrested, but the Manhattan DA only charged her with petty larceny, even though the $1,300 was well over the threshold for grand larceny, and then let her plead to a violation. And with no jail time, Evans was off, free to con another day.
You see shops in New York City or in LA, okay, you see a shop every 3 blocks. These people all know each other, okay? And they're networks, and they go around the whole country, and they change names, and they might have 50 different social security numbers and 50 different names, and they change hair colors. They go in an area, they hit it. When things get hot, they decide, you know something, I ticked off a client, it's time to leave. And someone else will take their place in that shop, and they'll go to another shop someplace else in the country with a different name and change their hair color and start up there.
Nygaard hopes to spread the word about psychic fraud and prevent people from being scammed. But with locations all over the city, it doesn't look like these corner shop practitioners will be shutting down anytime soon. For NYU Now, this is Stephanie Rodriguez.